there, Julia here. Today I'm sharing my current rotation. I don't think it's typical spring vibes, but after last month just not going well at all, the members know we had a whole mid-month rant session about it all. But I just wanted to reassess, and so this month I have some old faves mixed in with some new things, and I'm crossing fingers that it will be a good time. Lots of travel this month, so I need to be a happy camper because these things will be on the go. Before we get into the rotation, I did want to show off the new flex pen that I have inked up. I usually have a permanent black ink and pen, which honestly I don't have one right now. I uninked my TWSBI Carta, and so I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with that. But for my flex pen, I have the Scribo Altre Steel, I think it's called. And yeah, it's beautiful, of course, like this tealy blue with these splatters in here, gorgeous. I got it with an extra fine flex nib, which is the same nib as my other Scribo, but at the time I got this, I was thinking I was going to sell that Scribo, but then just decided against it. So I got this from Apple Boom, but I'm going to say, like, I was just not happy with the buying experience, just being straight up with you. It said on the site that it was going to ship in 6 days. I emailed before I made the purchase to make sure that was going to happen. I was told, yes, it'll ship in about 6 to 9 days. I said, okay, cool. So yeah, I did not get it until a month and a half later, and I have learned since that that is par for the course when it comes to Apple Boom. Some things are not in stock, even though they say that they're in stock, even though they say it'll ship in just a few days. Not always the case, and so I'm just throwing it out there. Beautiful pen, not a great buying experience. So I would just be wary ordering from Apple Boom. Just be aware. If you want to wait around, cool, but this was a lot of money to just not have the product in a time that I was told. It would be fine if the expectation was set, but I was essentially lied to. So here is the flex nib. I have this inked with Ken's Night Stars Fell from Alabama, which is an ink that I grabbed at the Tokyo International Pen Show. So here it is without much pressure. In Alabama, let's give it some pressure. I'm not gonna have enough room to finish it, but you get the point. We're getting a little bit of feathering here and here. This is just like this little notepad I found at Daiso, and for the most part, it's okay, but you get a little feathering here and there. Okay, so I just wanted to update you on that, and from there we will move into the first pen of the rotation. This is the Ancora and Sailor collab. This is Rainy Day. So with this pen, you can only get it at Ancora in Tokyo when it's raining, and so beautiful navy blue and lighter blue barrel, lovely. This always reminds me of Salt, like the Salt packages, but just without the girl. But yeah, cute little converter that you can get as well. So I did get this, like, definitely an impulse buy, but when in Japan, right? And so I have this inked up with one of my OG inks, honestly, and I haven't inked it up in quite a while, so I'm very excited about this. We have Wearingeul, Phantom of the Opera. Oh yeah, and it's a new quarter, so we're gonna be switching up our layout here. A beautiful navy blue with some red sheen. Would not be surprised if this was my first experience, this ink, with sheen. And then the pen has a medium fine nib. My nib stickers from the shop. Almost used all of them, but sometimes I forget to use them on my currently inked spreads. Beautiful, and we will get the sheen picking up pretty nicely in the writing as well, which is pretty awesome for a Japanese medium fine. So really wet writing ink. I think it's going to be great. Next up is a pen that I've had for a little bit, but I just haven't inked it up yet. Beautiful pen. And an ink that I recently got and haven't used yet. So the pen is from Little Hollow Customs, and this is their Mistress model. And I'm calling it Nightberry. I did not ask what the resin was called. But yeah, I'm calling it Nightberry. And since it is a Yovo compatible pen, I've installed the mini stub nib from Esterbrook in here. And I love how shimmery, like subtly shimmery, this pen is. It's gorgeous. For the ink, I have chose to ink it up with Karina Loves the Plan, her collaboration with Hatch, Antono, and Limbs. This is Winter Sunrise. We got some shimmer in here. It's going to be her kind of signature dusty pinky mauve. So here, as I said earlier, we have the mini stub, which is basically your typical stub nib, but instead of starting from like a medium or a broad nib, this one starts from a fine nib. So it's just a little more subtle with the line variation, and you just have a thinner line overall. So yeah, you can see here, we still get that line variation, thick on the down strokes, thin on the cross strokes, but a thinner line overall, more subtle line variation. So yeah, not an exact match, but I just could not resist putting this in a pen this month. And I think with writing, it's pretty nice. It looks closer than if you look at it in this larger swatch here. Next up is a pen that I have used before, but I have Frankensteined it a little bit. And then the ink is an ink that is on my inks to try for 2026. So Have not used it before, but I just have a good feeling about it. The pen is the Magna Carta MST in the black opal colorway, and this was an Endless Pens exclusive, model as well. Neil over at Wasted Paper did an amazing job sort of reimagining the Magna Carta pen so that it posts, and this colorway is just spectacular. I love all the colors in here, but I have it fit. Please don't cringe too hard because the trim is gold, but the nib is silver. And so I have a flexible nib factory housing in here, and that allows me to put in a Sailor 21 karat nib. And so I have a Sailor nib in here, and then on top of that, the Sailor nib has a journaler grind on it. We have a Magna Carta MST in black opal, and the nib is a Sailor journaler. So that's super fun. I have it inked up with a sample that I got from so-and-so. And before this, I don't think I'd heard of this brand, but it's called Collection Traced, and the name of the ink is Bucket List. I love that these sample bottles come with like the little eyedropper in the cap. So handy. Do very much like this teal. We have some very interesting, like more green, some reddish brown undertones and haloing here. It's just, you know, a little bit more than your typical teal color, and I really enjoy that. Yeah, so I guess if you didn't know, Magna Carta pens usually come with a flex nib, and they are JoWo compatible. So if you love a body of a Magna Carta, but you don't want all flex all the time, which I totally get, or you want to just like work on your flex brush lettering here and there, still get the pen because you can swap them out with other JoWo nibs. In this case, it's not a JoWo nib because I was a little extra, but fun fact. Journaler nib is similar to what we were talking about here with the mini stub. A stub is like a squared off nib. The journaler nib is a little more round, so again you have more subtle line variation, and just it's not as dependent on your writing angle. Still get it. Thick down, then across. And if you're curious, there is the tiniest bit of that Sailor feedback in here, even with the grind, but it did smooth it out just a hair. But man, beautiful match, beautiful ink. I love that as you're writing, it looks like this more deep teal, and as you go, you can just see it kind of transform into this lighter, more interesting teal. And so it's matching. I'm sure you can see these sections of the resin. Yeah, gorgeous. Next up is a new pen, but with an ink that I just know I'm gonna love because I love the line of inks, even though I don't think I've put it in a pen yet, but I just already know it's gonna be a banger. The pen is the Esterbrook and Ferris Wheel Press collaboration, their latest collaboration. This is called Rockstar. So we get some different details on our Estie this time around because of the collaboration. On the clip here, we have some cool little designs with the lightning bolt and the little stars here. We get an extra band around the pen with some sparkles. You guys know I love a good sparkle. And it says Rockstar. And then on the nib, we have Esterbrook and Ferris Wheel Press. So beautiful resin. I think I lucked out as far as color distribution. I don't have as much teal in here, which I would have loved a little more teal, but this is cool, having that teal right on the thread section there. Gorgeous. If you didn't know, this is Esterbrook and Ferris Wheel Press's second collaboration. About 3 years ago, they released this first one called Nebulous Plume. And so I was able to get this one as well when it came out, luckily, because secondhand market has been gouging the hell out of this pen. But I know people were a little bit up in arms about the price of the Rockstar pen, which I totally get. That's conversation for another day. But the second collaboration was actually $50 US less than the first collaboration. And with 3 years in between, and with their popularity, growing in those 3 years, and with all of these other price increases, I thought, considering it was a deal, and very surprising that it was less. So both of these did come with Ferris wheel inks to match, like exclusive inks for the pen. Okay, a moment for that possible match. Wow. So yeah, I did not ink this pen with the ink that it came with. It's a perfectly fine ink, but honestly, it's a dime a dozen. It's a dark purple with some shimmer in it. Cool. I wanted to ink this up with Sailor Date Gokoro from the Ursa line, and it just, for me, you'll see. It has so many of these like space colors in it. So yeah, I decided to go with this for the match. I'm sure we will start to see this change before our eyes. And this does have a medium nib. I just kept the initial nib in here that I ordered it with. And this is definitely one of those inks that look so different on different papers, but overall you are going to get that color changing, color shifting vibe. And I've been loving a medium nib lately, which is hilarious. I mean, you hear this stuff all the time if you are in the pen community, watching lives, on forums, watching YouTube videos, like how people say that their tastes change and all of that. And I was just so set on, I am a fine first girly. Like, you cannot tell me that fine is not where it's at because the grid sizes and oh, you can see properties in ink, but you can still have an everyday writer. I don't know. Medium right now, I'm just loving it. I get a little bit of a juicy writer. I get to enjoy the inks a little bit more. I don't know. If you're curious, that is just where I am trending. This layout is looking quite lovely. The next pen that I have inked up is my Zodiac Pen Company Virgo model. This colorway is called Conversation Hearts. It's so pretty, and this one is really spring, really Eastery pastel to me, and I know that I love writing with this pen. It's very comfortable, very sleek, and I'm excited to get back into this one. As far as a nib, I have one of my favorite nibs on here. This is going to be the Imperial nib by Kirk Spear. So we get that cursive smooth italic writing on the front side, which is similar to these. And then if I want to write on the reverse side, I get a thicker line, which I'll show you that whenever we do the writing sample. But I have this inked up with a new to me ink. I got this bottle in the sweetest ink swap with the Ink Witch. And so, yeah, it's Ferris Wheel Press Moonbeam Meadows. Having a weird sense of like deja vu, even though I have not inked this up before. It does post, and I love the grip section here, just like this little divot. It's just perfect to set your fingers in. Imperial nib, it has Ferris Wheel Press. Moonbeam Meadows. Okay, so on the front side, thick downstrokes, then cross strokes. Cool. On the reverse side, thick, 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 thick. So, why would you do this? Why would you want this on your pen? This is good for headlines. This is good for underlining things, emphasizing things against your regular writing. So just to create a little bit of contrast there. Almost looks like cotton candy, the way that the different colors of the resin just kind of, right here, ooh, the way they just kind of meld into each other like that. It looks fluffy in there. All right, next up is a newer pen mixed with an ink that I've had inked up for quite a while. I know that I love it, so I think it's going to be a good time here as well. This is from Desiderata Pens. This is a Dumka model, and the colorway is called Sodalite. And I got this, I think, for a fantastic deal at Santa Fe Pens in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it was pre-owned, but I honestly don't think that it was used very much, just based on the condition of the pen and the nib and all of that. I just think that it was very lightly used. So this is a piston filler pen. The piston area is pretty low-key. You can barely tell that that's what it is. It is Yovo compatible. And I decided to go ahead and leave the nib that I purchased it with in here. It's a 1.1 stub. It seemed like a really comfortable more round stub, which I tend to prefer versus the really like sharp, slicey stubs. But in here I have from the 2024 Colorvent calendar from Colorverse. This is Dante's Cosmology. And I had this inked up for months and months and months in my TWSBI Mini. And that was my purse pen for a while. And I really enjoyed it. I think this ink is fantastic. It's a lovely indigo color and really great flow. So sad that we're getting down in quantity here, and this one did not win one of the top 3 for that year, so we'll not be able to get a bottle of this. All right, here we're going to get the most severe of our thick down strokes and thin cross strokes. So lots of contrast here. Just overall, we're getting a juicy, thicker line here and just more contrast between the downstrokes and the cross strokes. So you can definitely see that compared to our mini stub over here and even the journaler. Okay, next up is a pen that I've had for a couple of years now, but I honestly have not found the right nib ink match for this pen, but I know I love it. I know it's a beautiful pen and it's comfortable, but it came with the 1.1 stub, speaking of the stub and finding a comfortable one, but this one was a little too squared off, and so I immediately started putting other nibs in there and I think just trying to do too much to make it work for me. So I think I have it this time. This is the PenLux Masterpiece Delgado. I cannot say the colorway. Shame on me right now. I've looked it up how to say it. I've tried. I just can't get my mouth to do it. So I'll put it up on the screen what it's called. But either way, a beautiful pen, you know, that tortoise look. But I think this one's unique because it has those like lilac purple pieces thrown in to that traditional tortoise color. It is a piston fill, really lovely, really pretty. And I just have a plain old fine nib in this pen this time around, so not trying to do anything super fancy. As far as the ink goes, I have one of Ferris Wheel Press's newer releases. This is Citadel Dust. So we get some gorgeous like orangey rose gold shimmer in here. And yeah, I think we're gonna be matching, kind of matching. It's not like the best match ever, but some of these honey sections in here, maybe the darker sections. Definitely postable. You can actually hear that it kind of clicks to post, which makes me feel good because you know that it's secure and it's not going anywhere. And yeah, and it's very comfortable post-it, not too long, I don't think. So just throwing it out there. Definitely an underappreciated brand, PenLux. Look them up. Man, I'm so excited about enjoying this the way that it was meant to be enjoyed. And it has like a rose gold trim. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Why is this longest currently inked filming situation ever? Ever! Okay, the next pen and ink pair is our April Member's Choice. Yay! So when you're a channel member at the Creative Circle level, you get to comb through all of my pens, all of my inks, all of my custom nibs as I'm working on like this database of all the things, and comb through that and choose a pen, an ink, a nib that you want to hear more about, and sometimes challenge me to get out of my comfort zone, or just have a say in one of the pen and ink pairs for the month, along with extra videos and fun content and some photo updates and things like that. So this month I let the members in on what the vibe was for the month. I said, hey, I have a lot of blues that I'm thinking about, some purples, some teals, and I'm missing some warmth. I'm missing some warm colors. So if you want to fit in, then go the purple blue route. But if you want something with contrast, look at the warm colors. So this one I thought was a good mix of both. So for the pen, we have the White Bear pens, the Ursa model, and I just call this one Mermaid. And the ink was so surprising, and I just kept scratching my head like, really? This ink? So the ink is also an ink that I've never tried. So this fit really well in that mix of things that I love / trying new things. And I've never had this in a pen, but this is Diamine Fortune's Gold, which was from the 2023 Inkvent calendar. And I remember day one because this was the first Diamine Inkvent door that I ever opened, and this created a monster. So in this request, it mentioned that, hey, the gold is gonna match the gold in the cap. And I was like staring at this cap like, what gold in the cap? I don't see any gold in the cap. But sure enough, there are, I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up, there are yellow gold specks, very subtle, in this cap. So it ends up being this crazy contrast match, but not really. So I kind of love that. So the nib on this one was chosen by that same member, and they chose the Big Bottom Girl nib grind by JJ Lax. I love this. It's giving sunshine, but it looks really legible, at least in the swatch here. So I have high hopes, and I just love that. I don't think I would ever pair this ink with this pen. So the Big Bottom Girl nib grind. So on the writing side, you're gonna get an italic writing style. Again, similar to the stub, similar to these, but just a little a little more slicey. And then on the back side of the nib, whenever you turn it over, it's a regular fine nib. So you have an italic and a fine. Big bottom girl. All right, flipping it over for our fine nib, maybe an extra fine in my case, because I started, oh, maybe not. I started off with a broad with this one. I don't know, that seems a little scratchy. And then this seems more like an architect with the thin downstrokes and the thick cross strokes. I don't know. This is the big bottom girl though. Do believe. Either way, we are getting more legible as we dry down, and I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I do really love the color match and that subtle, you can see that yellow and gold kind of in this top part of the cap a little more. But yeah, interesting choice. I'm excited to provide some feedback. No pun intended. All right, everything is dried down. Now we're just gonna take a closer look at all of the pen and inks for April. All right, we have the Ancora and Sailor Lecoule. It has a medium fine nib, and this is paired with Wearingeul, the Phantom of the Opera. Next up is the Little Hollow Customs. This is the Mistress model. I'm calling it Nightberry, and this is paired with Tono and Limbs and Karina Loves to Plan Winter Sunrise. Ooh, look at it together with Wearingeul. Love it. Next, we have the Magna Carta MST in the black opal with a Sailor Journaler nib, and the ink is Collection Traced Bucket List. Next, we have the Esterbrook and Ferris Wheel Press collaboration. This is the Rockstar Estie. It has a medium nib and it's inked up with Sailor Dante Gokoro. We have the Zodiac Pen Company's Virgo model. This colorway is called Conversation Hearts. I have the Imperial nib installed in here, and this is inked up with Ferris Wheel Press Moonbeam Meadows. Beautiful. Next, we have Desiderata pens. This is the Dumka model in the Sodalite colorway. This has a 1.1 stub nib, and it's inked up with Colorverse Dante's Cosmology. We have the PenLux Masterpiece Delgado. This has a fine nib installed in here, and it's inked up with Ferris Wheel Press Citadel Dust. And then finally, our member's choice is the White Bear Pens Ursa model in the Mermaid colorway. This has JJ Lax's Big Bottom Girl nib grind on it, and it's inked up with Diamine Fortune's Gold. All right, so you can definitely see what the vibe is for April. I honestly was not trying to go for a color theme as far as the pens go. I was just picking up things that I really wanted to ink up and use, and it just so happened that they all follow this kind of blue, purpley, swirly theme. So cool. But let me know one pen and ink combo you've been loving. I may have a reason that I'm asking. But even besides my own agenda, I love being nosy and just hearing about your pens and inks and nibs that excite you. So let's talk about it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to see more pens, inks, journaling, and planning. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all in the next one.